One is the Lake of the Ozarks Watershed Alliance testing issue. Second is the conclusion of the investigation into the failure to close state park beaches. The third is the systemic problem the Department of Natural Resources has had in dealing with water quality. Let me take just a minute to talk about each one of those. Back on July 16th, I was preparing to leave on a trip that would take me to Iraq and Afghanistan. I learned that day for the first time that the Department of Natural Resources had delayed release of May sampling results from the study of water quality at the Lake of the Ozarks. I remember this well, since it was the same day I left to visit our troops overseas. I issued a statement before I left. I stand by that statement now. The sampling information should have been immediately released, and the department was wrong to delay. It has become clear that faulty decision-making at the Department of Natural Resources led to the delay of the release of the sampling results. But responsibility does not end there. Failures in communication made the bad decision even worse. Communications between DNR and my office and between individuals within my office was insufficient. Systems failed and people made mistakes. Because of these communication failures involved members of my staff and of my administration, I take responsibility for them. Breakdowns like this one are not acceptable in this administration, and we will make every effort to prevent this from happening again. It has also become clear that the chief decision maker on the delayed release was then Deputy Director of DNR, Joe Boyle. Joe has been an exemplary public servant throughout his career in state government. As a deputy of mine at the Attorney General's office for 16 years, Joe demonstrated tremendous ability as an attorney who always defended the public's interest with great vigor. His contributions to the state include landmark work on protecting Missouri's environment, including the defense of Missouri's waterways against industrial polluters and legal actions which have safeguarded the public health. He has been a trusted aide to me and an asset to the citizens of this great state. Nevertheless, Joe Boyle, as I believe he himself realizes, made an error in judgment regarding the release of Lake of the Ozarks sampling results. Because of that error, and the jeopardy in which it placed the public's trust, it is proper for me to withdraw his appointment to the Administrative Hearing Commission effective immediately. Joe was my appointee, so I accept responsibility. I have consistently held that the failure to release the sampling data was unacceptable. I still do. A committee of the Missouri Senate is reviewing this matter. I hope they will soon conclude their work and make recommendations for possible legislative remedies. On today's second topic, my administration also learned that public beaches at the Lake of the Ozarks State Park have remained open for 2 weeks this summer, even though sampling results clearly indicated they should have been closed. The department also provided me false information that those beaches had been closed, information which I passed on to you. Because of those failures, I placed Director Mark Templeton on administrative leave. I also tasked Acting Director Bill Ryan and Department of Corrections Inspector General Chris Pickering with reviewing the failure of the Department of Natural Resources to close state park beaches. Bill Ryan has briefed me on the findings of that review and has informed me that he will make decisions on additional personnel actions in coming days. His review has yielded several conclusions. First, DNR's internal procedure for closing beaches is fundamentally flawed. Despite written guidance on when state beaches should be closed, there are no mechanisms in place to ensure that those responsible actually close them. This is simply unacceptable. Second, the review demonstrates that DNR's failure to close beaches this summer was not an isolated event. The investigation revealed examples in 2007, 2008, and 2009, when state park beaches remained open despite high E. coli levels, which should have closed them. I'll not go into details, but the handout distributed to you contains specifics on those past failures in this area of beaches. Finally, the review demonstrates serious problems regarding the manner in which beach closure information was reported up the department's chain of command. Inconsistent or incorrect information from beach sampling programs was sometimes provided by program staff. Third, the findings of the review also reveal broad systemic problems with DNR's handling of water quality issues that go far beyond beach closures. The review shows a history of failing to announce results showing high bacteria levels. Reaching back a number of years, the department did not disclose results showing astronomical levels of bacteria being discharged into the Lake of the Ozarks. Some of these were horrific instances. In June 2007, the DNR had sampling results showing a discharge into the Lake of the Ozarks with fecal coliform levels at 8,400 times higher than the acceptable limit. 8,400 times. Yet there was no mechanism in place to make the public aware of the alarmingly high levels of bacteria. There was zero accountability. The review found a dozen other examples like this at the Lake of the Ozarks alone, without anyone ever being held responsible. Obviously, this is an institutional problem which requires attention. And while I'm not familiar with the details of all of these incidents, you have been provided with a handout which includes the relevant facts about these instances. These instances are a clear demonstration of DNR's long-standing institutional problems with the handling of water quality issues. For years, the department has ignored or failed to inform the public of troubling water sampling results. But for the first time, people are being held accountable. More than 2 weeks ago, I disciplined DNR Director Mark Templeton for his department's handling of sampling results. And I believe that Mark has served a just punishment. He has had more than 2 weeks of unpaid leave. He has faced reproach from the public and the press. He has spoken at length about his own failings on this matter. He has paid a price for the department's mistakes. In fact, he has paid a higher price than any DNR employee he has ever paid for the failures of the department, despite the long-standing existence of those failures. So I have decided to reinstate Mark Templeton as Director of the Department of Natural Resources effective next week. I am reinstating Mark because I believe he deserves a chance to set things right now.